You are listening now to the Spirituality Now podcast, the show that is solely focused on practical spirituality, leadership, and mindset skills with the aim and purpose of supporting you master your life. Welcome to the Spirituality Now podcast. Welcome to the Spirituality Now podcast, a really practical spirituality podcast. I am your host, Yvonne de la Flor. We're not a podcast for saging your home. We're not a podcast for levitating. We're actually a podcast where we expect hope is kind of lukewarm, right? For bringing the ascended masters into descension, because we need more masters here on earth. We need more grounded parents, grounded relationships, grounded, embodied human beings that live it all, do it all, and actually do some good for humanity. And I am excited because my guest today, Mr. Charles, I met him through social media. And I always say social media because I don't know how you use social media. For us, it's a place of contribution, soul networking. Not all networking is good. We are there to put our little seeds of faith into the social media world. And now that the beloved ChatGPT and all the AI is taking a stand in humanity, I'm a real believer that people that are really fundamental and living through fundamentals and that really have a genuine voice. I have nothing against AI. We use a lot of technology. It helps our businesses too. But I think that's going to be the go-to in the future. So we're bringing the future into the now, and we have a beautiful guest. And I'm going to say beautiful guest because his energy is super solid and grounded for me. So my guest today, his name is Charles Clay. He's an inner peace coach and healer and neurokinetic pain relief specialist. And when I reread his bio this morning, I was like, dang, I have the Achilles tendon, I'm injured, the knee, the ankle, and the neck. And then, he's here. I don't know if I want to discover what's the real reason that I have all of these issues, right? Charles helps hard-working professionals, emphasis on hard, understand the source of their pain and anxiety, and heal their childhood trauma with the inner peace process so that they can create balance in their mind, bodies, harmony in their relationships, and enjoy more success in life. And I think, Charles, you're the first guest whose bio is short but charged, right? It's charged because for you to be all of these, I bet you had to work hard in life, right? You show very peaceful here and very calm, but I was telling one of my mentors today, my calm, my faith, my peace was earned. It was not like, illuminated in a cave. No, I think I'm a professional storm surfer. And that's how I earned the right on my calm. So welcome, beloved Charles, to the show.
Thank you. What a pleasure to be here.
Yeah. And so I met your wife first, right? Through one of her beautiful creations, the Goddesscapes. And I love all of your energies. You are father of how many beautiful kids?
2 beautiful girls.
Oh my God. And you just had the last one, right?
Yeah, she's about 8 months.
Oh my God.
Everly Opal and Sophia Pearl. She's going to be 3 soon. So
Sophia Pearl, who is helping us behind the scenes. Her name is Sophia. And the last podcast too, someone said the name Sophia. So I'm paying attention to the signs. So beloved Charles, so before we go into your bio and the great work that you are doing for, I believe, higher achievers, it feels like that. I'm like, I'm beginning to feel nervous. I'm beginning to feel like, is this a podcast or is it going to be a therapy that the divine sent to me today? But tell us a little bit. We have a kind of a ritual in the podcast where we begin where the beginning was, right? In the power of the famous concept of the inner child, but it's truly your childhood experiences that brought you, obviously, don't tell us the whole story yet, but who is Charles as a child? Who is Charles, the boy that aspired for more and that ended up here helping so many people in the world? Tell us a little bit about his story.
Yeah, I love that question because with the work I do, I get to connect with these parts of my younger self often. And so I kind of go back to like the 4 or 5 year old Charles. And this is a very creative, very imaginative, very bright young soul that has a lot to share. And
Mm.
I remember even, a lot of my journey began, like you said, we earn these badges, we earn these lessons and blessings, right? We're for surfing the storms, and that's been my journey as well. Like a lot of it was learning the hard way so that I could teach an easier way. And so when I was really young, I remember being 4 years old and my mother kneeling down and sharing with me that she was leaving and that my parents were divorcing, and that was the beginning of the classic abandonment wound, and would later yield tons of lessons and blessings and some deep healing that set me on course for this journey. And so I remember, really missing her and not understanding why and having all kinds of feelings as a young 4 year old. And then she met her new boyfriend and moved to a small town. So we got to visit mom again. And this was some of the brightest, most incredible, memories of my childhood, was getting to spend time at mom's with my brother and I. And it was like reinventing myself as a 5 year old, in this new
Wow.
town, getting to go across the street when I saw a boy petting his dog and say hi and ask him what his dog's name was. And that became one of my best friends to this date, and so these special experiences of, getting to create, a biker gang when I was 5 in our little neighborhood of all our new friends. We were called the Scorpions, and this was some very vivid, visceral memories that I got to anchor in vivid HD. Just from being fully present in that frame of mind. And
Mm.
so, fast forward, I remember, getting pulled over with my dad, and he picked us up from baseball practice and pulled over, and I looked at my brother. I was like, man, there's something wrong. And I'm 10, my brother's 12, and my dad drops the bad news and says that our mom died. And so this again was this like devastating abandonment wound, later to find out that she took her own life. And I remember sitting next to my brother at my own mom's funeral and just trying so hard not to cry, because I'd picked up the beliefs from all the older guys I hung out with that, guys shouldn't cry. It's a sign of weakness, that, it's only for girls, and all these silly things that guys say. And that was energy that I didn't get to release then, that took years to unfold and get to feel and heal. And has yielded tons of lessons and blessings. And, it wasn't until I found a way to heal that abandonment wound and recognize the patterns that were showing up that were keeping me stuck, that opened up a lot of dreams coming true,
Mm.
including calling in my queen and getting to have two beautiful girls in our house, in Austin, Texas, and all these incredible things that have happened by doing this inner work. And so it's an honor to get to share and to dive back into those younger parts that were experiencing these challenges for the first time.
Wow. First of all, I want to pay tribute to you because the way you are sharing this is really solid and also really not bypassing the pain, the story, and also sharing it in my experience as from a burst of empowerment that was earned through a wound instead of empowerment bypassed and numbing it and making it okay. I have been blessed to have served my community for more than 20 years with family constellations, birth trauma, rebirthing. So when you come with this is the core wound, right? The mother,
Mhm.
not trying to diminish the presence of the father is as important, right, as the mother. But the mother represents life. The mother represents is our first. My one of my teachers, Bert Hellinger and Mark Walling, always says that the mother represents our first winning moment in life, which is being
Mhm.
born, our first experience with success, and then the father represents how we live that success in life. So I can only imagine, my heart as a mother. I'm a mother of three. Oh, what's going with you? I was walking through that, being present with that little boy, and I know today that your mother is proud of you. I mean,
Mhm.
I that's all I can say as a mother of two boys. And thank you for sharing. And this is how we're opening this interview. I don't even know if this is an interview, right? It's an interview. So, Charles, and being you, let me go back to when you are sitting down there with your brother. He's 12 years old.
Yeah, so he's 12, I was 10, and it was
Mhm.
that was the beginning of these repressed emotions.
The beginning of the repressed emotions.
Mhm.
Well, how well said. And then, as you and as you are aware, you do this work like myself. The age for initiation for boys, right? We go through many rites of passage and initiations. Is usually the preteen age years and the teenager years. Is between 9 and 13, and so you are initiated into the future of your manhood in that moment with death, right?
Yeah.
With that. And I'm not foreign to that because I had a near death experience at 10 and I died. I lost an arm, they put it back, right? I almost lost a leg, they put it back. I'm
Wow.
alive and kicking and causing trouble to myself, not to others, right? But that was, it seems that death was an initiator kind of for
Mhm.
your life. So tell me what happened next. So how do you grow as a teenager with these repressed emotions? What begins to shape shift Charles now as a younger adult to be some incredible man supporting his wife, his kids, and the people that you serve?
Yeah, there were milestones along that journey. One of which was it felt like a dark age after
Mm,
losing my mom. It felt like a couple years of really dark, just sad memories of hanging out with bad crowds, older kids. We would get into lots of trouble. There was like there's an inner pyro. We played with fire a lot and burned dumpsters and vandalized and did all these like terrible things that for me then it was like I had numbed out. And so it was just this need to feel something,
right,
and so I was a part of me was a loose cannon, I'd be easily triggered early on. And through adolescence, I didn't like that part of myself. I didn't like that I was, upset so easily over things. And so one day I literally chose to just flip the switch and, be stoic and just
huh,
not let my emotions control me and not let anything rattle my cage. And so it was a huge upgrade from where I was at. But over time, into high school and even college, it was like, wow, it was so much pain was showing up in my body,
right,
and I was so science minded. It was always my degree in kinesiology, always looking for answers outside of me then of, how can I heal this pain? And it's oftentimes the last place we look, right? The
right,
emotional component of the emotions that I was trying not to feel and would stuff with, sex, drugs, rock and roll, chasing pleasure, all the things that eventually cracked me open to allowing myself permission to feel more instead of always trying to feel better. So this was
wow.
another
Feel more
shift.
instead of feeling better. That's
That was,
huge.
that was a game changer for me because prior to that, I had a million biohacks to raise your state and to elevate your energy and all these things that were great temporarily, but they were avoiding a key piece that wanted to be looked at. And in grief, there's, I never really let myself be angry um,
Right,
at that experience. And it was like a jump to forgiveness because I
right,
just felt for what my mom was going through with depression and alcoholism. And so, that anger that was repressed would show up in my experiences. Right. And then eventually, falling in love in college and met my sweetheart then. And in about a year into our relationship, everything was great until circumstances happened. Her dad cut her off. We ended up having to do, she had to move. And so I was still going to school, and she didn't want to do the long distance thing. So we broke up. I was left heartbroken and moved on, and then fast forward again, 33, fell in love again and had this incredible relationship, but only last less than a year. And then she left me as well. And so it was like,
Wow.
this was this huge wake up call of recognizing this pattern of like really getting to take responsibility for, wow, what is it that I'm doing, showing up in immature ways to push these women that I love away, to recreate this experience of love and loss, and this story that I had decided early on as a 4-year-old and again as a 10-year-old that, I'm not worthy of keeping the woman I love with me,
Wow.
and so that was, it seems silly now as an adult, but this is the story that was running
It's
in the
huge. It's
family.
not silly. I think it will be silly for the people that haven't done the work.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of the most honorable things I've ever heard. I admire and respect highly people that go through the work, that go through the mud and earn the right to their lotus flower, earn the right to their calm, to their peace, to guide others. You are not coming to guide others from like, hey, I took a course, I got a diploma, I took a quick, Instagram kind of gig in, and now I'm an expert because I purchased my expertise. So many people
Right.
do that. You are something that survived,
Mm-hmm.
thrived, and I think this is one of the hardest things, to lose a mother at that age. And you, as a 4-year-old and a 10-year-old, I'm with those boys right now. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, part of me has a rescue pattern. I'm like, oh, Charles, let's go get them. Let's go get them. Let's go tell mom, what will you say to your kids? And I'm sure she will say, this is not your responsibility. This is all on me. One of the most powerful things I learned with Hellinger, with constellations, and it was a game shifter for me and my children, because, no matter how much we're in the spiritual path, how much calm we look at the external world, how much calm we have within. And I don't know if YouTube is going to ban this, but shit happens. The storms are as real as the calm. It's part of it. Even Jesus, it was, he flipped tables, right? Or turntables. I don't know how you say that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's a component where we need to express our emotions and take responsibility for our creation. And Hellinger and Mark Walden said one day, one of the best things you can do as a parent is to carry your pain, is to carry the responsibility of what you did and release your children from that. So saying to your children, it is my duty to carry that guilt, to carry the responsibility of what I did, how I hurt you, how I wound you. It helps me develop my virtue. So I think, that will be a component, right, of this that you are sharing, and you taking responsibility as a 4 or 10-year-old. I know everybody will tell you don't, but look at the man that you have become. So you flip the switch. I love that. Let's go back in that. You flip
Yeah.
the switch, you make a decision, and you repeat, right? And I don't know if you repeated it. I know that all of us that work on ourselves, we're highly into, I take responsibility for my creation. It's kind of a gig that we have now, right? It's a pattern that we always say. But the medicine that life is sending to you, this person is going to leave you once, it's going to happen twice. So you're going to relieve the 4-year-old and the 10-year-old. What happens next once you began to notice that? What is the decisions that took you to this moment now? What
Yeah.
happened?
Yeah. So I remember deciding that I was going to choose from here on out unconditional happiness. And
Mm,
it's a powerful declaration, and it'll spark your spiritual awakening anytime you declare that. It's like the universe gives you, well, you sure you want that? Because here's all the things that have been in the way of your happiness.
yes.
And those get highlighted. And so it helped me, call in some really profound resources, teachers. And I'm one that takes the things that resonate and practices them. If it works, I embody it and then make it my own. Right. And so it's been a series of all these different things that I learned that that I put into a simple process that's easy to digest, that's easy to use, and it's literally what helped me resolve the abandonment wound. And on the other side of that was able to call in my queen like shortly after, and what I ultimately wanted, and a sacred union that I could create. We could co-create these incredible children together and be the best parents that we can, and be in purpose in our lives, and get to share and create new epic memories together, and really give and receive the most of this human experience while we're here, since it's such a short time. And that meant looking at and feeling through all those emotions that I had repressed earlier
Mm.
on. It's like, we don't get to outrun these. You don't get to, there's no bypassing them. It just keeps getting poked and prodded and triggered until we go to the source of it and allow ourselves to
Right.
feel it and heal it. And so creating a safe space for that was really key. And then getting to reparent those versions of myself that really needed the most love, support, and safety through this inner peace process was profound, because it
Wow.
was like the first time that my 4-year-old finally didn't feel like he was alone, and received the love and support that he needed. And we get to share some tears together and then rewrite that story, of the pain from and the loss that I assumed love meant. And then, and again, my 10-year-old, getting to sit with that aspect of me, and just allowing like the feelings of getting hit in the stomach over and over with a baseball bat is the equivalent of what that feels like to receive that type of news. And so getting to essentially hold sacred space for these younger versions of myself, knowing what I
Right.
know now, and then the ability to connect with a higher, more, future all-knowing self for some
I
deeper
love that.
truths to embody and to receive in place of those subconscious negative beliefs that no longer serve or no longer true. And it's amazing how fast like this type of work allows for dreams to come true really fast. And so it's just been really exciting to get to share this with others and remind
Yes.
people that you are your own greatest healer,
Yes.
and that the better you get at self-sourcing and connecting with these parts of you that need the most love, support, and safety, providing that for yourself there, and then getting to connect with, your higher self for some deeper wisdom that you can embody. Then you don't need to go on Google and search for, diagnosis of my symptoms and these
Oh
things.
my gosh.
It can lead
Ain't
down
that
a
the
spiral of
truth?
negative thinking, and put people into fight or flight, based on that. So it's really been profound and such an honor to get to share this, because once people experience it, then they're given a step by step process that now it's a tool they can use whenever they get
Yes.
triggered, or whenever they're faced with challenges and storms. It's a way through it where you can gain those lessons and blessings from it, instead of prolonging the suffering experience. And my greatest inspiration is still my two little girls, my little angels. Every time I get triggered and I'm dealing with my stuff, it's like I could either go to the fridge and try to stuff it, or go on Instagram and look for some dopamine, or I can choose this step by step process, choose to take my own medicine and receive the lessons from it, and alchemize and heal these generational deep wounds and traumas, so that my children don't have to carry these burdens. This is weight that
I
they no
love
longer
that.
need to carry.
Mm. I love that. My mentor, Mark Walling, says it didn't start with you, but it can end with you when we do the work, right? When we, and I love what you're saying, because the words alchemizing and all of that sometimes are misused in the spiritual community, right? And this is true alchemy. When
Yeah.
you go through the mud of it all, you earn your wings. And I love how you said, look, you kind of were a time traveler By not avoiding the pain, you got the fuel to time travel. I call this futuring, right?
Hmm.
And you travel and visit the 4-year-old. Hey, buddy, this is what we're doing. We're going to cry. We're going to feel it all. You time travel from the now into the here and there, right? With your 10-year-old, right?
Hmm.
And now you time travel into the here and then, which is the future, brought that future self back into yourself and embody it with your daily committed choices. And you, let's see if I remember well. I made some notes. So guys, if you are looking to me at video, like, what is she doing? She's her phone writing notes. I'm an apprentice of the people that I invite. And so jumping into happiness, that was like unconditional happiness, jumping into peace, jumping into freedom. I mean, like, that's a quantum. We're talking quantum here, right? Jumping, but you didn't skip the pain. You didn't numb. And one of our guests, Mr. Damon D'Amato, who is a powerhouse helping veterans worldwide, breath work, unbelievable. He said that he was addicted to a lot of drugs and everything, and until something similar to you, it happened to him, and he was avoiding the pain. But until he became a Qigong master, right? He found out that the pain he was avoiding that kept coming to his life, the pain was trying to heal him.
Yeah.
So imagine that, oh my gosh, what I'm trying to numb and avoid is my healer. So, Charles, how do people work with you? Like, how does it look like? Hey, Charles, I want a session with you, or do you do retreats? How is the venue? How can people reach out to you?
Yeah, great question. And first, I just want to piggyback on what you shared because
Yeah, let's.
pain, I've come a long way with my relationship with that. And it is a great teacher. It's like pain to me is pay attention inward now. And it
Ooh,
means take a look at what your body is trying to share with you because there's
wow.
something that needs to change. And just for the listeners, this can be very valuable when you're in a storm or when you're dealing with pain. Ask these 3 questions. If you can calm your nervous system with one of the greatest tools that's right under our nose, this is the work that I teach. Just slowing down your breath, exhaling longer than you inhale, and then ask yourself, how is this happening for me? And this takes us out of victim mode and into, empowering state of seeking answers. And 2, what are the lessons? What are the blessings from this that I am to gain through this experience, this initiation? And the third one is, what wants to change? What is it that needs to change in my life? And this gives your mind like a heat-seeking missile task to seek these answers instead of going into the negative thought spirals that perpetuate the fight or flight response, which makes it harder to heal. And so it can be a game changer for allowing those answers to come in. They might not come instantaneously, but at least as they do, you begin to recognize how you can self-source and improve that relationship with pain. It's like a check engine light from our body. We're most pretty diligent about when our cars get a check engine light. Oh, we need to change something, get it serviced.
So
But
diligent at that,
but
but
with our
not with
bodies, we've
ourselves,
been
right?
taught, yeah, just take a pill or numb it out, or which then usually leads to a major breakdown, just like with our cars, unless we pay attention to it. And so, for those that love diving deeper on this work that resonate, really easy. You can find me on Instagram. It's charlesclay.coach. I love to connect. And my website is the same, charlesclay.coach. And
Mm,
there we do from one-on-one work to group trainings to VIP retreats, small group retreats, and even in person. I've had people fly from Australia to
beautiful.
Encinitas just to do sessions, and so it's really a privilege and honor to get to do this work and to get to share these self-healing tools to help people remember, our own power of self-sourcing. And
Wow, self-sourcing power.
Mhm.
And we're going to make sure, Charles, that we put your website, everything on the copy. Everybody can find Charles, follow Charles, study from him, work with him, work through it all. Because, when you heal your wounds, this is one of the most beautiful things. And you help others with that, right? You got to get a staff like from source consciousness, from God, like to what you survive and you thrive from. Now you have a responsibility to guide
Yeah.
others, help others, and teach it. But not only that, the parents, no matter how much they hurt us or they left us or they abandoned us, we honor our ancestors by us choosing to do it differently. And
Yeah.
that builds the bridge of forgiveness, of compassion, and understanding into a higher level of consciousness. So, beloved Charles, thank you. Thank you for jumping with me in the podcast. Thank you for being one of the first ones in video and for having so much patience with us. We're always in a beginner mode, right? I don't know how much of an excuse is that, but we love having you here whenever you want. You are welcome back. I envision a future book in your field. I kept
Mhm.
like, oh my gosh, quantum freedom, and nobody steals these ideas, everyone. But quantum freedom and the inner peace process, this is huge, Charles. This is something we need more than ever in humanity. And I thank you from my heart as a mother. I thank
Mhm.
you for you not dying to yourself, not abandoning yourself, and showing up so powerful to help others. Thank you, beloved Charles.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Yes. So, friends, please follow Charles. Please keep sharing the podcast wherever you find it. Remember, we're a philanthropic based podcast. We don't sell anything. You don't see commercials in our podcast purposefully. I am a self funded, like you self resource, Charles said, right? Self funded kind of podcast. We're produced by Brilliant Futures Productions. They donate everything for this to be done, aka me and De La Flor Teachings International. We will continue to be philanthropic as long as we can, so you get the full spectrum of our guests in the show without interruptions at all. So thank you, everyone. Muchísimas gracias. Les mandamos un beso. Adiós.
Peace.
We hope you enjoyed this new episode, and if you did, please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere where you prefer to listen to your podcast. Make sure to check the links to everything we mentioned in this episode. For more news, future or past episodes, or for any other inquiry, please visit our website at delaflorteachings.com. Once again, thank you for listening to the Spirituality Now podcast.